Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining. In this video, we'll look at SQS, Simple Queue Service, and then we'll try to consume the messages from queue via Lambda. Here is how the data will flow. So we'll create a queue on SQS, and then we'll consume the messages on the SQS using Lambda, and then we'll write to CloudWatch. And in future video, maybe we'll write to Amazon DynamoDB. So let's get started. Let's click on SQS. Let's create a queue. So there are two options. One is standard, one is FIFO. So if you really want first in, first out messaging order preserved, you have to use this. Slightly expensive. So let's create standard queue for us. So my first queue. Okay. And I think we can go with default. Yeah, I think we can go with default everything. And let's create a queue. And it creates a queue like this. Um, it doesn't have that letter queue. And so let's start sending and receiving messages. So you can, okay, message number one, send message like that. And then we can send multiple messages like this. Technically, you can write a Lambda function also to send the message to this queue, and then you can further process using another Lambda function put into DynamoDB. So there are a lot of options that you have. So we put in 5 messages so far, um, and then we can poll for messages. So let's poll for messages, and the messages will show here. So 3, 4. So this 5 messages are received. You can click on the message, and you can see. So they are not in order, like I was explaining earlier. The standard queue, but they were received internally here. Now, what we want to do is we want to write a Lambda function to consume these messages. So let's head over to Lambda. Let's go to open a new tab, create function. So we'll author from scratch. So you can say SQS. We'll use Python, right? And let's create the function, and then we can go from there. So, okay. All right. So what we can do is there is one change we can make, and then we can also print, let's say, body of the. So based on the last video, we know that it is part of the event. Then we tab it. So instead of message, it will be in body. And we need SNS. It'll be okay. And then so it will print event, and then it will print the body. So then we can mess with a message like this. And it will print. So let's deploy the updates. And let's go to test. So let's go to test, and we need to set up. So let's create a new. So my test event SQS, and let's use the template from SQS. And so we should be able to see the body. Hello from. Let's change this a little bit. Let's save this, and let's test it. Okay, can we look at it? Okay, so this is the event. And this is the body of the message that we extracted and printed. Now let's go ahead and connect this function to trigger from putting messages on SQS. So we go to configuration, and okay, so we go to configuration, we add a trigger. So let's go add a trigger, select the source. Our source will be SQS, and we already have the queue created, my first queue. We'll activate the trigger, we'll enable the matrix, batch size. Let's just process one by one for now. So let's put that as one. Um, and I think that's it. We might have to adjust the IAM role, but let's see. Okay, so the function execution role does not have receive message on SQS. So let's go to we are in trigger. So let's go to function again. Let's go to permissions. Let's open this role. Right, so let's look at the Lambda execution role. Click on it, open a new window, and we need to add policy to be able to read SQS queue and receive messages. So let's go here, attach. So it's very tempting to add SQS full access, but we don't want to do that. So we don't want to do read only also, because read only does not have receive messages, and that's what we want. But the Lambda SQS queue execution role does have the required roles, so we add that. Right, and let add permission. So now it has been successfully added. So now we should be able to go back to our function and add the trigger. So let's go back, trigger, select the source, so SQS, then we pick the queue. Batch size we should pick one. Think unless everything is default, and then add. As soon as we add, should technically start processing those messages. So go here. It is in disabled state. Okay, it's creating. Maybe that's why. So we take a minute there. Okay, it's enabled. So now we need to go look at the logs and see if it processes those messages. So let's go look at the logs. So message from SQS number one. So that is the message that we were sending here. Message from SQS 001. So let's try and put some more. Okay. And this, so this will trigger the Lambda function to execute, and our function will extract whatever is in the body and then print, and it will show something like this. So let's go to the logs. Okay, and we can see the message here, body of the messages is. So I think so in this video we were able to create a queue. We were able to use Lambda function to process the message from the queue, and we just recorded it in the logs, but potentially we can write that data to DynamoDB in one of the future videos. Maybe we'll do that. Thanks for watching.